Hey everybody, Rock DIY here. Today I'm going to start doing what needs to be done in order to get this shed. And this shed is 10 feet wide, 20 feet long, and 10 feet 10 inches tall. I just want to move it from here right over the car by that spruce tree is a spot that I want it moved. The other thing is I need to move that one too. This one and this one both need to go right over there into that flat area over there. You can see like some white things over there. That's the flat area that we want to put the sheds. Both of these are fully loaded. The fun part is going to be getting everything out of, especially that one, because that's all workshop tools and stuff. Today was the first full day of unpacking the shed, and what I visualized is unpacking the shed didn't quite go that way. All right, so here's where I'm at with moving this shed. I haven't even started on the second one. This one just got emptied. I never realized that this thing was holding so much stuff in it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm jacking this shed up. I looked up the dimensions for this is a 10 foot 2 inch wide by 20 feet long by 10 feet 10 inch tall shed. And I looked up what the weight would be for those dimensions, and it says between 3,000 and 4,000 pounds. Without a roll-on, roll-off truck to move this, I have to come up with some different ways to move it. I contacted one of my neighbors. He's got a tractor, a much more powerful tractor that also has a capability of lifting. It's got a 3-point hitch on the back for lifting. My tractor is only it's a BX23S, 23 horsepower max, with the front loader is about 650, backhoe is about 650, and that's topped out. I did attempt to put the front loader up on one of the corners just to see if I could lift it at all. Didn't even budge the shed. So my tractor is ruled out on this. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm jacking it up. I'm gonna put some toe straps, and I'm not going to put the toe straps up in the front underneath because it'll probably just rip this out. So what I'm going to do is put the toe straps further in, and I'll also make sure those boards underneath are nailed on really good, because if they're not, that could be ripping it out from back there. I did buy two 30-foot long toe straps that are rated for 4,400 pounds each, so I will either double them up or just use one, wrap it around. And then the next thing that I'll do, once I get all the blocks out, I'm gonna have to do some leveling here of the ground, so that what I can do is I've got these metal posts right here. I'm gonna use those as rollers to basically pull the shed. I'm gonna have to pull it out this way and then kind of turn it to get it to go straight down the driveway. I've got 3, and what I'm going to do is place them on the ground, pull the shed, and then basically pull the poles out, bring it up front, pull the shed, pull from the back, pull it, put a pole up towards the front again until I get it up here. So one of my options is to pull the shed all the way up to here and then turn it and go down the hill and then go that way, because that's where it needs to go, and then these rocks will be moved. The other option is to pull it this way and then get my Kubota BX23S subcompact tractor, level this out so that it basically goes straight into that flat area over there. So I can tear this up and then fix it up afterwards. And that one will be all the way up against where you can see the berm over there. It'll be all the way up against there. There is a master plan. Ultimately, it's both of these sheds need to get away from the house. All right, so that's where I'm at for now. The nice thing about doing this by myself is pretty much do what I want and not have to worry about too much input on how I should do this, and it allows me to think through it. Right now I've removed all the blocks from the front here. I removed the 3 blocks that were 1, 2, 3 in the middle, and right now I've got the back side jacked up and I've removed those blocks. So back side is sitting on a floor jack right now. On the front here I've got a pole, metal pole that is not crushed yet and shouldn't crush. Originally I put the pole in and put the shed down on top of the pole, but my concern is that the shed might slide across the pole, but the pole is not going to roll based on where it's at, because it's high over here, got a big dip in the middle. So what I did is I put these 2x4s in so that the pole can sit on the 2x4s with a little more stability, and hopefully the pole will roll. Right here it's probably not going to roll, and I need to straighten the pole out because it's further in on this side than it is on this side. So I've got this part of it done, and you see these 2 straps here, they are hooked to my truck. And the only reason why they're hooked to my truck is because the ground slopes that way, and my concern is once I drop the backside of the shed, there's the potential that the shed could move that way. I don't think there's enough slope for it to do that, but as a safety precaution, I got these got this safety toe strap hooked up to my truck. So here's the pole that I have in the center of the shed. I'm not going to put any poles towards the back. Pole here, and hopefully I'll be able to pull it forward. So the front side of the shed over there only had 4-inch solid blocks under it. This side had 4-inch blocks plus 8-inch blocks on the back here. So you can see that's where the slope is. Now I've got to drop this all the way down. All of the blocks removed. I've got 1 pole up in the front, 1 in the middle. The middle one goes all the way across. This one kind of goes under this 4x4, this one, and this one. Just doesn't do this one. And the pole doesn't go all the way out because the ground on this side is high, which would cause the poles to bend and not roll or really be helpful. I've got the door shut to hopefully keep the shed square. It's not going to help much, but didn't want to leave them open while doing this. I did notice that once I dropped the back side, I thought it would just drop straight down, but it actually moved that way. Hopefully I can keep the shed away from this. Disassembling the deck is not really an option at this point. I just put that stick there, put it there leaning against the shed a little bit, because sometimes it's really hard to tell how much the shed is going to move or has moved. But if I see it fall forward, then I know that it has at least moved forward some. more than knock that board over. Actually, pretty impressive how well these toe straps are working. It is kind of burrowing into the embankment there, so I need to start going to the right some. I'm pretty much almost past the stairs going up on the front porch. Just need to pull it that way to get it off that embankment, and then I'm going to bring the jack over here, put it under the front so I can put this pole back underneath it and pull it a little bit more. I moved my 2x4s back up here because it gives a nice I don't know how to say it, rollable surface for the pole. So but I did have to jack up the front. I put the 2x4s in, I'm going to put the post back in, and then I'm going to give it another pull. Here we go, pull number 2. Last pull, it really started pulling hard towards this other shed, so now I'm gonna have to steer the truck hard right to get it back over towards the berm, because I don't want to block my driveway. The shed was going hard right towards this shed. Now I got to get the truck to go hard right that way, but ultimately I need it between those two rocks right there. Those rocks will be moved out of the way in order to get the shed over there. I'm going to back up some and get my truck more over that way in order to get the shed to go that way. Knew something was up. One of the hooks came off. So now I got to back up again and hook that back up. Oh man, camera died.
hooks are good. It's starting to turn more.
This way?
No. Yeah. Yeah. Third pipe is about to come out.
Let me know exactly when it comes out, because I think you're going to lose space.
Okay. It's coming out. And it's out. It dropped in the back. One of the hooks came off. Okay.
Wes, I'm going to back up.
Unhook you?
Yeah, hold on.
Okay.
Alright, I'm going to back up.
Your front left tire wasn't even moving.
Yeah, no. You hook it up yet or no?
No. Do you want me to?
Yeah, yeah.
You're hooked up. It's tensing.
Huh?
I was just letting you know it's tensing.
Let me know for sure that it's actually moving that way.
You moved it a tiny bit just then. It's moving. Stop. Okay, keep going.
What's it doing?
It's turning it pretty well. Stop.
It's really dragging.
Yeah, well, you're turning it a lot. I think this part's good, but as you pull it, the back might collide with this.
I got it as far as I needed to go with it for now. I don't have much traction with my truck, so I can't really move it. You can see I've been spinning all over this. This project is nowhere near complete, but this is an awesome feeling, having this shed removed from this spot. It's been an eyesore for almost the last 5 years that we lived here. Pretty excited about this, and like I said, nowhere near finished because the shed is still sitting right there. Kind of weird that it's sitting right there, but I mean, of course, well, this one's going to be easier because the majority of what's in it is in a box. The other one was a work shop shed, so a lot of stuff wasn't really boxed up. Here it is, day 2 of the shed move. So I've got it right here on the edge of where the slope is in the yard, and this whole area right here is very slippery, very difficult to move on. But in order for me to get that shed over there, what I'm gonna have to do is take my tractor and kind of flatten this out. This is very rocky terrain right here, so hopefully it's rocky enough that it's not gonna like cause any major permanent damage. But I'm hoping I can just dig this out, flatten it, get the first shed over there and then take the second shed from this perspective to get a little better idea of the slope. So basically the front of the shed needs to come this direction towards where you can see the front edge of the front loader. So I've got to flatten that out in order to get it where I'm currently sitting with this tractor. If I leave it like it is, I would not be able to use the poles because there's a possibility that the shed would just slide off, and there's a possibility that the shed could roll because the slope is 19 degrees. I don't think it would roll, but there is that chance. I mean, if it gets motion going sideways, it could potentially roll over. So I'm just going to start digging this out to flatten it out. The shed is 10 feet wide. I'm probably going to go 12 feet wide. So you can see the progress that I've made. What I'm doing is cutting the hill, the slope on this side, and I'm filling this side. Here's my shed road. I'd like to move it further, if not all the way down there, just to get it out of this portion of the driveway because it blocks vehicles from being able to turn around. One of the issues I'm having specifically is, one, my tractor still can't pull it even though it's on poles. My truck can pull it, but it can't pull it on this area right here. And what I need to do right now is I need to get it to go straight, and then I need to have my truck down there so I can pull it down the road. Right now it's set too far back, so if I start pulling it, it's gonna pull it way over that way, and I don't want it over that way yet. So I need this up here, get my truck down there, then I can crank it that way and get it to go down this road. I did run it this way and tried to use the traction of the gravel to get the shed to come forward, but as you can tell, because it's going off this way, it's pulling the shed that way. And I don't want to get it going too far this way because it'll be difficult to bring it back, and then I'll just be digging into this edge right here, and I don't want to do that. I'm going to pull my tractor up because what I need to do is get this rope to go straight out. And I think the only way I'm going to be able to do that is if I pull my tractor up here and get this rope, tow rope, to be against the tractor somehow where it won't break it or cut it. So get it to go out this way, have the tractor hold it, and then hook it back up to my truck to create an angle or leverage to still pull it straight even though my truck is over that way. Not 100% sure that my tractor has the weight. I know it can't lift it or move it, but hopefully it can be used as a fulcrum point. Here we go. Here's some hokey stuff if you ever saw it. So I've got the tow strap basically coming straight out from the shed so that hopefully it will get pulled straight forward and not go left or right. I had to put it on one of the strongest points of the backhoe to make sure it's not going to rip anything off. There's a lot of things that'll break off, but this is one of the strong points on it. Also made sure that the hooks are on this side so that they don't run through and catch on anything. And then what I've got is my tow strap going off that way so that I can use the gravel and my truck and hopefully pull the shed straight. Good camera view to watch the carnage. Let's see what happens. In theory, and this is no scientific theory at all, but what I'm hoping is, because what I've seen is that the shed is coming forward, and you can see where the hooks are over here, that it moved about 1.5 feet. It seemed to go to the left some, but it didn't go that much. And I think right now if I keep pulling it's going to go straight. The reason why I put the 4x4 there is rather than having a post that it can roll on, because I will now be going downhill, I'm putting this 4x4 here to get the shed on top of it, and hopefully by it being square rather than it rolling, it will slide, but only slide when you pull it. I am hoping that the shed will make it to that post before it starts to dip. I think it will, but there's a possibility that it may go down before it gets to that 4x4. If it does, I have to bring my floor jack over, jack it up, and then put the board up underneath the 4x4s up underneath the shed. Alright, so let's see what happens. Alright, so far so good. The shed made it to the 4x4. I need to get my tractor out of the way. And now what I've got to do is get my truck down there so I can start pulling the shed this way. Shed's almost lined up with the road. I got to keep pulling straight and then pulling it off to the right, and then pull it straight, pull it to the right, because I'm afraid this back end right here might not make it, and that would not be good. Kind of suspected this would happen, but the shed didn't line up with the road, particularly here in the back. So right now it's running across a bunch of rocks. It should be okay, but what I didn't realize is that there's a lot of room on the other side. So what I'm having to do is hook up a new strap and then get my truck on this end and pull it that way. Yeah, being right here on this edge is a little too close for comfort. It is pretty compacted, and I did put a bunch of big rocks on the edge to give it added support. Doing this hopefully to get the shed to move back up the hill, because it's sliding that well. It didn't slide, it got pulled and ended up going down the hill a little bit more than it was supposed to. Both straps hooked up on the left and the right, and I was trying to pull the shed evenly back up the hill, but what was happening is the left side would get pulled more than the right side, and then the right side would go further out, and it's been kind of seesawing back and forth. So what I'm going to do is hook that left strap to the tractor so that this end will stay in place, and then I'll hook the right strap to my truck and pull it while that left side stays in place, because it just keeps going back and forth, back and forth. So I'll bring my tractor up here, get that tied off, hooked up, and then pull this in. These tow straps have the worst hooks on them. They just keep falling off left and right. almost there. here it is, day 3. The shed made it this far. The issue I have now is right where those little trees are is where my property ends. So what I've done is I've got my tow straps here, and I've got this 8,000 pound capacity pulley right here with the strap running through and then going back up on the road. And what I'm hoping is I'll hook that end up there to my truck, and as I go that way, the shed will go this way. Unfortunately, I don't think I have the best angle for this, but hopefully I can get it come about 6 more feet forward, and then I'll have to yank it that way. If it's sitting perfect on the poles, my tractor can move it a little bit, but if it's caught up anywhere or the poles aren't rolling, my tractor can't move it at all. But I'm gonna get it to come this way, and then I got to pull it that way. I want it to sit right along this line right here because I need to get it over as far as possible, because I do have another shed that I want to put over here as well. It's going to go here, but I've also got to move these 2 Versatube building system containers out of the way. That one I can drag with my tractor. That one right there, I was able to push it over to where it's currently at, but it's pretty heavy. All right, so here we go, day 3. Now I've got it going on the other side of these trees, and I'm not really going to use the trees at all. Like yesterday, the shed wasn't far enough for me to be able to hook up from where I am right now, and I just realized that the shed is a lot further this way, so now I can put my truck over here and pull from here. See what happens. This isn't a product review, but man, these tow straps are not that great. The hooks, I've had the hooks just come completely off for no reason while pulling something. Just now it popped. I don't know why it keeps doing this. It's just the way the hooks are formed, like they're short or something, or they just don't hold on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to unhook and take the tow strap and put it on the other side of this tree, and hopefully it'll force the shed to go to the right rather than into the embankment. So even from there, it's going to pull it right into the embankment. So I'm going to have to get on that side of the shed and pull it out. So far, this is the only damage that's been caused to the shed, and it's weird because it's catching the back piece, but it didn't catch the side piece. It looks like it's sitting on a rock. That's probably why it seems like it's a lot harder to move, because the back end's been sitting on this part of the slope, so it's probably locked in a little bit. Should move a lot easier once I get past that. I didn't realize it, but this is like all solid rock. So yeah, probably gonna interfere with it's gonna interfere with the moving of the shed. Not just because it's on the trim piece, but I can feel there's like nothing but rock under here. So definitely not gonna help. Yeah, that's a bad corner right there. Not 100% sure that this will work, but hopefully it does. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take these 2 4x4 blocks of wood. I'm going to put them right in here. The idea is to put them side by side to where when that skid hits them, the boards will deflect the shed away from the berm so that it doesn't dig in. This spot right here is holding up the shed a lot more than I thought it actually was, but I was able to pull the other side out, but it's hitting up against this, which is going to make the entire thing go completely further out versus going in. So I'm going to dig this out with my Kubota BX23S backhoe, and hopefully that will alleviate this problem. All right, that worked out pretty good. Unfortunately, what's up underneath the shed is still kind of solid. I think I'm good now. This ground over here is all higher anyways, but the skid should be sitting where it'll be good now, in the edge of the wall, and the trim won't get caught up on the embankment anymore. Once I get the toe strap against one of these trees, it's like the bark on the tree is really gripping the threads on the strap, really preventing it from going anywhere. For some reason the shed is a little bit harder to move. I think it might be because one of the poles that's underneath the shed is bent, so it's making it harder because it's not rolling. The two 4x4s that I put over there against the embankment are actually doing what I thought they would do, and it's doing a pretty good job at deflecting the shed off the berm and not digging into it. Unfortunately, they're not very long. So now I've got to loosen up this strap, get the tractor, pull the shed away from the berm again, and then rehook the strap again. Rinse and repeat. So again, this is probably another example of the hook coming off. It's probably not even broken. Nope, not even broken. It's getting pretty beat up now, but these things just keep popping off. now I've got the shed kind of where I want it. Well, I really wanted to put it all the way up to here, but after thinking about it, I don't want to completely close this off over here because our property actually does go about 2 feet to this side of these trees. But I don't want to be in a situation where I'm going to damage these trees. Now what I need to do is, surprisingly I threw the level there, and the shed is level left to right. Definitely not front to back, but left to right it's level. But I'm gonna have to raise it up to put it on blocks. And then also I've got that corner over there. I don't want the shed touching the ground at all. And then also I've got to get blocks up under this side, so I got to pull it out and away from this wall, which shouldn't be too difficult. I've got this side level left to right. It's definitely not level front to rear. I've got blocks under it, and of course the other side isn't up on blocks yet, so these posts on the bottom are actually angled upward, and those will flatten out on the blocks when I jack the other side up. And when I jack the other side up, unlike this side, I'm gonna have to go higher on that side in order to get the middle blocks in, because I've got to get blocks, one over there, one in the middle there, and one over there. That side in the middle is going to be a little difficult. We'll see. This is just to get started. Man. I'm all done leveling the shed out. I didn't really show any of that because all it would have been was me moving all over the place, jacking the shed up here, jacking the shed up here, and putting wedges in and all that stuff. It's not like perfectly leveled, only because I know what's going to happen. A little bit of time, this thing is going to settle and plus I'm probably going to put about 4, 5, 6,000 pounds of stuff inside this 10 by 20 shed. All right, now I've got to load this shed up. I may just keep this road here. Don't know for sure, but I may just keep it here and cover it with gravel. But I don't know that I want to put gravel on it right away, because gravel's kind of hard to get rid of once you put it down. The only thing is every time it rains, it's going to get very muddy right here. I did throw some cut straw down to help with mud, because I was tracking a bunch of it inside the shed. I've got everything back inside the shed now. Got the ramp up. I got some stuff still hanging out outside. I do still need to move those two building boxes right there so I can get the other shed over here. Not exactly sure when I'm going to do the next shed, because this one kind of broke me a little bit. I think I need a break from it, because I think I worked on this for like 4 days straight. Glad to be done with this. Thanks for watching the video. Please subscribe, like, comment.